our members to succeed out there. So today we are on a webinar. We hope to have a seminar soon, maybe by next week, if all things are being equal. Today's webinar, like last or the August edition, is just a free, what is it called? Free mode to like the speakers will talk to us. And if you want to ask a question, you can ask them. But today we're not going to do like we did the last one. The first speaker will speak, then you can ask her your question. Then the second speaker will speak, then you can ask your question from them. So I'm sorry I didn't also tell you my name. I'm not used to just telling people my name. My name is Oluwatofunmi. You can also call me Deborah. So we'll start the meeting now. Each speaker will also talk to you. And for record, they are both OAU alumni that are doing well in their graduate school studies. So Scholar Raimat and Scholar Hane are I call them Scholar. So they are the ones to speak to us today. So everyone, once again, we say you're welcome. And then you're welcome to this platform. Feel free, hear them speak and learn from them and ask your questions and utilize them. Thank you so much. So Scholar Raimat, can we have you on board now?
Sure. Is my audio clear?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay, sure. Welcome everybody. My name is Rahima Rafiu. I'm a 50-year PhD chemistry candidate at Missouri University of Science and Technology. So this is more of like a Q&A question, like Q&A webinar. So it's not like I have slides prepared or anything, but I would just be giving like a brief overview of how the graduate application kind of goes. First thing I would say is applying to graduate school is not easy, and it's not something that would, it's not something you would vibe through. That's what I always say. It's not, oh, I'm just going to do this. If this does not work, I'll just do something else. It's challenging. It's not impossible. There are, I'm sure, hundreds of thousands of international students in the US who were also, even like if you talk about Nigeria itself, there are so many people like myself who at one point in Nigeria, you don't even know what's going to happen after school. And before you know it, if you follow the process, you can actually study abroad. And the reason why we host webinars like this is, yes, anybody can study outside the country, but finances is a big part. That's why like we focus a lot on scholarships and how to study literally for free. There's no free money. It's not like you just come, you study and then you get free money. But depending on the school, there are different ways like this fundings are allocated. But now, like, even if you think about the current exchange rate, if your tuition in, say, like in the United States is $50,000, that's about 50 million naira. Very few people can actually afford that. So the reason why we host these webinars is to say that in some countries, in many countries, I would say like there are ways for you to study without having to take a huge loan or saying like, I cannot afford to study abroad. That's what I hear often. So like I said before, it is not easy. It's not an easy process. It's not impossible, but it's a process where you need to be dedicated. And you need to be sure that's what you want. And the fact that it doesn't work one time does not mean you should give up. People have so many interesting stories about how they think everything is going to work out the first time. Maybe they make some mistakes. Maybe COVID was happening. There are just so many factors in the graduate application process that you have no control over. But I would say that still try to do what you can do to make sure like your profile is competitive. And if you're still in school right now, I would encourage you, it's not too late. No matter what, maybe you were not serious in your first year, eventually started gearing up in your second year. It's never too late, you know. And the mindset people have, if you know like you're going to study abroad, say maybe you have a couple friends or you have some senior colleagues or whatever who are studying outside the country, the way you concentrate on your academics is also different because you know there is a pathway. For instance, I studied chemistry and in OAU, and I eventually chose chemistry. I chose chemistry in FUNAB too. And many people did not want me to study chemistry because it's like, excuse me, people were like, you're just going to be a teacher. There's nothing more. Like there's no career path in Nigeria and all of that. But I really love chemistry. That's the only science I do understand very well. So I still chose to go ahead. And in my final year, I talked to a senior colleague who was coming here, and I told him he would guide me through the process, and he did. So that's why I'm here today. But if I did not have the grades, it would have been impossible. So you don't need to say like you want to study abroad before you have good grades, but it also helps if you have like that goal in mind. Like if I finish here, it's not just going to be, I don't know what to do with my life. There are so many exciting things outside Nigeria, like you can do with your degree. So no, like I've said, like it's not easy. Two, it's like you need to make sure like you get the right information. There are so many information flying around. People say different things. Like sometimes I laugh when I hear so many things, but just make sure. I would say like less is more when it comes to information. If you're following 20 YouTube channels, you're in 50 WhatsApp groups, you're just tapping information here and there. It will be very hard for you to decide on what to do. And it's very confusing for your brain to. One or two groups is fine. And actually, what I've noticed is information is available, but people don't want to do the work. If you send like the template for SOP or say like this is how you people don't even want to search for the schools they want to attend. It's really exciting. Like it's funny sometimes. People don't want to search for the school. People don't know the course they want to study. They don't know why they even want to travel abroad. And it's like these are questions nobody should answer for you. These are things like you need to figure out. And takes a lot of time. It's called researching because this is something you're dedicating. Say if it's a master's, say you're dedicating 2 years. If it's a PhD, like that's 4 to 5 years. That's not something you should it's not a decision you should make lightly. So also be very careful, like where you get your information from. There are so many YouTube videos, groups here and there. Just focus on one and focus on execution. And also like the graduate school application process, there is a window, especially for the US, like as we are right now, that's the odd season for applications. Most schools have a deadline of December 5. So if you don't really get applications in by that time, it's very difficult because usually it's done a year before. Another thing I see is people just wake up April and say, well, I want to resume school in August. That's not how it works. It's something you need to plan like at least a year before so that you can, if you need to take exams, you can take those exams. If you need to do like research, get your essays reviewed, get clarity on what exactly you want to study, you also need some time to do that. Then I think a common question is also like talking about the exams. What exam should I write? Do I need to write it? Before, when I was applying to graduate school, that was in 2019, GRE was a non-negotiable. It doesn't matter whether you're top or your class in Nigeria, you still write GRE. It wasn't a question. It was automatic. And then COVID came and school started waiving. And some people, it's like, oh, that's a golden ticket. I don't need to write the exam. And this is what I say is like, there are some people, when they're talking about GRE is waived, like that conversation does not even pertain to you. If you have a very low CGPA, you don't want to write GRE, you don't have work experience, you don't have research experience, you don't want to write TOEFL, you're just on vibe. It's like, help yourself to help you. It's like, where do you start from? And yes, I've had like really, really incredible people who they did not have to write GRE and they still did well. And it's like, it's also exciting because I know the exam is expensive, but for so many people, it's not that money. The fact that they would have to study for a long time, they don't want to study. And it's just getting very competitive because if you have an entrance exam, what happens is like few people can apply. Now, like you don't need to write GREs, like everybody wants to apply to graduate school, which is a good thing, which means like people who cannot afford the exam can actually write. But on the other hand, if you don't have a very strong CGPA, it kind of puts you at a disadvantage because that means that you really do not have any other thing to show. And the way this thing works is it's like a cumulative process. It's not only your GRE score, your transcript, or your CV, it's everything as a whole. So what I always say to people is it's a personalized decision. It's a decision you need to make by yourself. Don't join the bandwagon. If you want to try it out without writing GRE, like that's absolutely fine. In fact, there are schools that will tell you, don't bother submitting, we would not look at it. But I want to tell you, like, even those schools that say don't bother submitting, we won't look at it. You see people with 4.9 out of 5 CGPA applying. And the answer is just clear. What would they choose? If you're also on the admission committee, it's like a fair system. If you see someone with a very high CGPA, has 4 years of work experience, has this and that, and then you see someone with just coming out of school, the 2.5 out of 5 CGPA, it's very easy to make that decision. So like I said, like everybody's path is different. I have so many people who did not write GRE, who did not even write IELTS or TOEFL, and they still got in. So that does not mean like it's impossible. If you want to try that, that's fine. But also like try to evaluate yourself, evaluate your profile, and just be honest. I want when people actually give you advice and recommendations, I would recommend like you follow through. Also, because the exams are expensive, study before you write. I see people studying for GRE 2 weeks before you write or 4 weeks before you write. That exam is tough. Like, it's not an easy exam, okay? It's not impossible, but it's not an easy exam. It's an exam like you need to be dedicated, you need to focus. It takes a lot of reading. I studied for like 3 months, attended 2 different tutorials before I wrote the GRE then. But now like things are very different. There are so many, like there are many online tutorials like you don't even need to. There is a platform where it's like it's just $5 a month and you get live classes and all of that to practice. So that's that about the exam. And for the application process itself, I would say like people don't want to read anymore. And it's a terrible culture because it's like you see people applying for things, they don't even want to read the application requirements. Like they don't even want to know. You see the link, the next thing I'm applying, I'm applying. When schools say this is what they want in an applicant, they are not joking. It's not just there for it looks nice on the website. That's exactly what they want. The program says you need to evaluate your transcript internationally. Like there are organizations that do that. They are not saying it because they don't want you to apply. They are saying it because it's a core requirement. So there are certain things which comes about, it's about researching. You need to sit down and dedicate time. It's not something you'll be doing and you'll be TikToking at the same time, or you'll be watching reels on Instagram. Like it's a very dedicated process. Because if you have a list of 10 schools, hardly you might be able to see like 3 or 4 that really matches your interest and what you want to do. Like you have your research there, you find research professors you can potentially work with. It aligns, like the requirements align with, like there are just so many things to consider. So many people fail from that choosing school phase. Another mistake is everybody wants to attend Harvard and Yale and all these Ivy Leagues. And sometimes people just have like really interesting strategies. They just go online, top 10 schools in the US, bam, they've started applying. It might end in not so good stories because it's like, see, especially when it comes to research, right? Attending Ivy League universities is very good if you have a very good profile. And you can also like have a mix of like the schools you apply to. But to be honest, if your CGPA is 2.5 out of 5, you don't have experience or anything, it's not practical. And it's not because you're not good enough, it's because the people who would be applying to these schools will be like the toughest of the toughest candidates. So it's less about, oh, I'm awesome, I'm this and that, but more about the caliber of people that will be applying to a particular school. Of course, shoot high, have great aims, apply to a mix of schools. Another thing in the US is research is very, like, very, very different. Like now, like even if you hear schools where Nobel laureates come from, it doesn't necessarily have to be an Ivy League. Research is about what you do, what you work on. And yes, like schools that have like that the Ivy League have like more funding and all of that, but there are really interesting programs that you can find in schools that people will say, oh, is not first 50 or first 100. As for research, you can find like in some schools, like they are known for some particular research, or you might end up working with a professor that is like top 5 in his field. And if you check the ranking of the school, it might be like maybe 200, number 200 or something. These are all just like metrics. So rather than focusing on, I want to apply to the top 5 or 2, you need to check research interest, research fields. This school you want to apply to, does it really have the research you're interested in? So that's also very important because what people do is they apply to the top 10 schools in the world, they get rejected, they feel they are not good enough. No, it's not about you not being good enough. It's because a lot of people are applying. So also like diversify your strategy. You can apply to some top schools, you can apply to some middle ranked schools, you can apply to schools where it's like, depending on the person that is mentoring, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is also like a good school that you can apply to. And then when it comes to essays, for applying to these schools, every school has their essay requirements. I see a lot of copy and pasted. Schools, we sometimes say, oh, this is what we want. Put your work experience, put this, put that. Sometimes they want 3 essays from you. They'll ask for diversity statement. They will ask for personal statement. They'll ask for statement of purpose. And people are just copying and pasting. The thing about essays, it is very easy to identify people who do not do the hard work when you're reading people's essay. When an essay is telling you to write about your work experience, or when an essay is telling you to write, why does this course align with you? Like, what would this course do for you in your career? And you're just rambling. you're just saying this and that's like you're not even sure. It's very difficult for you to scale through the application process that way. And that's why I said you need to be intentional in this journey. You need to take your time. And even when I write essays for different applications I do, I always ask myself this question: am I answering the question they want me to? It might seem like it's easy, but when you read the prompts over and over again, you need to be able to figure out, like, are you really giving them what they want? And sometimes schools have like different terms. Some schools will say personal statement. Some will say statement of purpose. Some will say statement of diversity. They're just like so many names. And depending on the school, what you need to submit is different. That's why it's very important. Like if you don't have the time to commit to this process, I would say don't bother to start. Just do it at a time where, because the way it works is because it's a year before, if you don't get in that year, it's still another year. So before you know, it's like 2-3 years down the line, instead of you just doing the hard work the first go. That doesn't mean like I've had people who try 3 different times, not because their CGPA is not good or anything, but there are just some factors outside your control. But it's like whatever is worth doing well. If you want to apply to graduate school, be dedicated. I've had people who applied in their 4th year in a 5-year program, and as they're graduating, they are flying out. It was tough. It was difficult, but they had their mindset on the goal. And I always ask people, like, very, very carefully, like, are you sure you can combine all of this with your final year in school? Because there is no excuse. You cannot fail in your final year just because you want to apply abroad. That shouldn't happen. Like I did, I ensured I finished my final exams and everything before I started the whole application and the whole writing exam thing. That was what worked for me. Some people feel, oh, like it's something I can combine. If you think you can combine it, you can. Otherwise, your focus should be on having as high as a CGPA as possible. And also take your final year project seriously. It's not for fun. Most of you might not have the opportunity to have quote unquote a work experience before you travel. So your final year project is majorly the only thing you will be talking about for a very long time. So it's very important that some people don't even know, some people don't even remember their project topic. They don't even know what they did. And it's always hilarious because there's so many people where, like, for me, like, I never worked. If I left Nigeria, I never worked. I never did any internship. But my project, even though the thing almost take my life, like, I made sure, like, it was something, like, I really did understand. It was something I loved. It was something I could talk about. Till now, even, like, applying for jobs, it's just something you talk about because that serves as your background for your real research experience. So if you've been vibing through your projects, like, make I just finish this thing quick. And it's time to apply to graduate school, and it's time to talk about your research experience. This would be very, very important. So those are just like the few points I can talk about. Like I said, like it's a webinar. It's just for you to, I know many of you have heard so many things about graduate school. So if you have specific questions you would like to ask, you can go ahead. I think can maybe have like a 5 minute question and then the next speaker would go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for those insightful talks. So they are just how will I put it? Basic things for you to know about graduate school. Maybe you are just new to this journey. But Scholar Matt, actually, as I always call them, I just want to put it out there. She has a LinkedIn profile, so maybe I don't know how you can get that. Maybe we check her on LinkedIn. That is Rahima Rafiu, I think. So you can follow her to get more updates on whatsoever she may know what you want to get through her. I don't know. You know what you want. So in the next few minutes, we're gonna be opening the question session rather. So if you have anything about your application, if you are a newbie or you have been applying, but just try to make them kind of precise and concise because of time. So that so you can raise up your hand, you can use the emoji to raise up your hand, I will mute you. And or you can type it, I can read it out to her. So but make them so brief and concise. So let's have that. If you have questions, kindly send the file, please. I don't want to miss out. Do I need to get a supervisor to apply for PhD? Someone is asking.
Yeah, it depends on the school and program. There are some programs, usually most chemistry programs don't have the requirements. But I've noticed like Usually programs in engineering usually require you to have a professor, and it's because of funding. So getting the professor, there are some schools where it's the professor's grant or the professor's funding. So this is how it works. A company wants to solve a problem, then they give $1 million or $2 million to a professor to help solve the problem. Then the professor then hires you as a graduate student. So there are so many programs where it's like, if you don't have a professor that can say, I can supervise you, I can provide funding for you, even if you're admitted, there will be zero funding. But this is why I also say, always email the graduate coordinator or the program you're applying to. It's a question like you should ask. Some programs will say it's encouraged, but if you're admitted, they will just give you teaching assistantships, as we call it, like you teach for the school, you get paid, your tuition is also settled that way. So in that way, it's not like a particular professor is paying for your tuition and giving you a salary. But there are some programs where it's like your salary and tuition comes from the professor's grants, as they call it. So for those schools, I've also noticed that I think programs in agric too sometimes have that, where it's like you need to secure a supervisor. Also, I've seen like it's also very common in Canada, where it's like if you don't even have a supervisor, don't apply. Like if you've not found somebody that would say like I'm willing to supervise you during your PhD. So it depends on the school and the department. Before you apply to any school, email the graduate coordinator, whatever questions you have asked them. Sometimes they will tell you, just go ahead and apply. If we admit you, funding is automatic. Sometimes they would say, oh, just wait, you need to get someone to actually agree to supervise you before you apply. So it's more of a thing about funding, and also like departmental rules is kind of different. Then another question here is, for schools that require a research proposal, how does one go about it? Depending on your field, there are so many templates online. Google is a very good resource. Just make sure you're not copying and pasting, you're not doing plagiarism, because that can put you in a very big problem. Another thing is all this AI and ChatGPT thing. If you're copying straight from ChatGPT, and not even reading through so it's not like you cannot use AI to enhance what you know, but it's always very easy to spot people who are smart with AI and who are not. Getting ideas from AI is fine, but then if you copy and paste everything ChatGPT tells you, it's giving you wrong referencing, the wording is you're speaking big English. Some people, you read their essays, you will need a dictionary to actually understand what they are saying. That's terrible. Keep it as simple as possible. If someone who is not like say like if a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old cannot read I mean like there are technical terms depending on your field, but then you are writing big English that nobody understands, that would not help. It's not a contest for who can speak the most grammar. And that's why you notice so many AI writing is so perfect, like it's so perfect, you hardly understand. And if they want to say Ade goes to school, they will say, oh, Ade goes to a domiciliary something institution. The thing will just be long, and English will never stop. Don't do that. So you can use AI to give you ideas. But if you don't want to take the time to read through and correct things and make sure like it sounds like a human, sometimes when you read people's essays, like you say, do you understand what you've written? Like this English now, like do you even understand what it says? So it's very important. Like there are so many templates online, depending on your field, the rules are very different. So just find like specific research. Some schools also give you proposal templates, like they know what they want. Sometimes they give you page requirements and that. So just make sure you follow through. And then let me see, what's your advice on using the same SOP to apply for graduate school? Since I have an academic interest and I've been able to identify professors with same interest too. So depending on, like I said, every school has their own different. Some schools tell you we need 3 different tests from you. Some schools it's just one. Number one thing is for instance, if you're applying for a PhD in chemistry, your intent for applying to a PhD in chemistry might not necessarily change. Depending on the school you apply to, that might not change. What you want to do, your future goals, your career, what you want to do with your PhD might not change. But things like, oh, these are the professors I'm interested in. If you're talking about computational chemistry research, and the school knows like in their department, they don't have their research. It's like, do you know what you're doing? It's like, you're saying you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to explore this, and nobody explores that in the department. That's not helpful. So you can have like a basic framework where it's like this align, but then so many things still need to change. The professors you're interested in, why you're interested in them, especially why you're interested in that school. If that school is not the top 5 in the world and you've written it for every school that they're the top 5 in the world, they will know you did not do your research. So it's very important, like you have done your research and you're able to speak specifically to it. So you can have the same framework, but then there's still so many things you need to change. Then I've been trying to apply for a graduate program at ASU. How can I go about funding? Funding depends on the department and the school. Email the graduate coordinator and ask them, do they have teaching assistantships or funding for their graduate program? Some people will tell you no, they don't. If they say tell you no, just walk away. If they say, oh, like it's competitive or it depends on this, you can still give it a try. But some schools are very upfront and they will tell you there's no assistantship provided. So please email the graduate coordinator. Information on the website is not always updated. I always say that. Make sure you're emailing someone in the department or find someone on LinkedIn who is attending that school. Search for the school that you want to. There are so many people. You can even find people from Nigeria that are attending the school. If you message 10 people, at least one person will reply. And a very simple question. Does your school provide funding for this program? So they can help. So that's like another way to also know. Someone says, I need to get my master's before applying for PhD. It depends. If you've already done the master's, of course, it would help your profile, especially if you have good results. If your master's result is terrible than your BS, don't just try. Don't do that. Because it's like, what are you portraying? Are you portraying that the higher you go in your academic pursuit, the more difficult it is, and you just kind of go through. But then if you've already done the master's and you're done, yes, you can wait till you get your transcript. If you have your transcript on the school portal too, you can use that. Although like when you're admitted, they will ask you for the official one. But if you have anything on the school portal that has the name of the courses you took, I see people submitting transcript that just says CHM 302 with no indication. What is CHM 302? You need a document that actually says CHM 302 is this and that. If you submit that kind of transcript, they'll send you back easily. Also make sure your transcript is complete. And for no reason whatsoever should you tamper with your transcript, because they would confirm with the official. Some people always think they are smart. America, wherever you're going, is in Nigeria. If they find like your transcript, there is conflict, you'll be in big problem. So for whatever reason, whatever unofficial transcript or student copy you're submitting, make sure it is accurate, okay? So if you've already done the master's, yes, I would encourage you to wait. But if you know that does not, if you know it's something, you're not even sure when the certificates will come, or you're not sure when your transcript will be ready, and you have nothing to show as of yet, maybe you don't have, maybe your grades are not posted on the website or anything, I would say just go ahead and apply, because the window is very short. Like most schools have a deadline of December 5. You don't want to continue waiting for a master's, but whatever degree you say you have to provide the transcript for it. They would ask you. If you have OND or whatever degree, if you cannot provide the transcript, it does not exist. So it's like, it's either you put it there that you have a master's and you are able to show your transcripts for it, or you just say you don't have a master's yet. But whatever degree, whatever post-secondary degree you have, you would need to provide the transcript. Someone says, can I get scholarship for PhD in logistics and supply chain management? Yes, you can get, but usually most of those schools require GMAT or GRE. I need to have very good score because funding is competitive in those areas. So most schools give at least 5 years of full funding for PhD in business administration courses, but usually most of them are not waiving GRE or GMAT. Most of them would require you to write. But some programs will say, well, if you have so years of experience, you might be able to waive it, but it's very competitive and it's hard to get funding. So if you're really serious about applying, I would encourage you to write the GRE. But if you find schools that do not require that and still provide funding, that's good. What are the documents required to be attached to code email to supervisor to enhance my admission? I would say CV and transcript is fine. You don't want to send your whole life history. Like just CV and transcript is fine. If they need more information, they reach out to you. In the case where GRE is not required, can one use a letter of proficiency obtained from Senate? Okay. So GRE left. IELTS or TOEFL, they are not the same. They cannot replace each other. GRE is like JAMB. Like this is an exam you need to take to get into uni. IELTS or TOEFL is just, can you speak English or not? That's just it. You cannot use one to replace each other. So letter of proficiency does not have anything to do with GRE. Is it that you want to write GRE or not? Some schools will tell you you don't have to write TOEFL or IELTS if you're from Nigeria. Some schools don't even need letter of proficiency. If they say like your transcripts or your stuff is in English, they are fine. Some schools will say present a letter of proficiency from your school. You can get that from any professor or from the registry in your department. But you cannot use GRE to substitute TOEFL or IELTS. Like they are not the same. So it's either you're writing GRE or not. As for IELTS or TOEFL, the proficiency letter, most schools don't require it. They just tell you if you're from this country, it is weight. Or if your education is in English, it is weight. And then the final question, what should be done if I don't have some of the school's requirements? It depends on the type of requirements you are missing. If a school, for instance, says you need a master's, there are some schools, there are some programs that say you need a master's before applying to a PhD. Don't do strong heads. They know why they've written it that way. So as long as yes, you can do direct PhD, there are still some programs where it's still kind of like bachelor's first, then master's, then PhD. If a school tells you they want GRE, if GRE is not included in your application, they would not review because that means it's an incomplete application. So there are like so many like factors, some things like, and it's also like, just ask the graduate coordinator, this is my situation, this is this, can I still apply? Sometimes they will tell you no, sometimes they will be able to give you more information. I think that's the last question I'll answer so that the next speaker can go ahead and conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. But I have this to ask. Do you advise someone who just finished school, maybe the person has been processing application since undergraduate days, to go for graduate studies rather than serving, doing NYSA first?
Okay. Everybody has their own dream, you know. Some people have the Nigerian dream and it's very valid. For me, I did not have the Nigerian dream. So there was no point for me. I went to camp, but I think I finished my final exam, in February 2018. And I think by the time I was at the convocation was December 20th, and my convocation, I already had my offer letter. I was just waiting to do visa. So I went to camp for like 3 days or something. I left. People were saying, oh, like, you can have someone run it. Someone was like, I don't run things. Like, it's either I'm there, I'm not there. So, like, legally, not like I didn't do NYS. And people be like, what if sometimes, like, what can happen? Like, everybody has their own dream. If anything comes up in the future, I just did not do NYS. Whatever will happen, will happen. So it's like, it can, what people will do is that NYC period gives you the grace period. You have small money, you can save, so apply to schools, write the exams. It also gives you a time where you are a little bit independent. You can study for these exams and stuff. So many people use that NYC period to actually apply, get a lot of information. You're out of school, get a lot of information, explore. So, and then get money, because some people, like, as they're leaving school, they're still surviving on like their parents' money. Is that NYC time that they actually get to be independent and save some money on their own? So it's not a bad idea to go for NYC. But don't think like NYC will help you for your graduate school application. It does not have anything to do. However, there are some people who have very good NYC experiences. Like, I've had people who their bachelor's degree, say I had a mentee who her bachelor's degree was in biochemistry, but every single thing she did during her NYC was on public health. She did a lot of volunteering, working with a lot of underserved communities. And she was able to use that to apply for a fully funded Masters in Public Health program. So in that case, like, the NYC really helped. Sometimes, like, people, it might be like you have never taught before, but your NYC is the time where you get to teach in a secondary school or something. And that is very valid. Those are very valid experiences, to be honest. Like, sometimes the experiences you have during the NYC can literally catapult you into the career of your dreams. So it's not a bad idea. But just don't think like it would necessarily, like, the NYC certificate would do anything for you, But it's also good, like, it's a very good experience. People have a lot of fun. You jump around, you meet people from diverse communities, So it's very nice. If it's something like you want to do, you can do that. But just know, like, if you finish, for instance, say 2024, NYC 2025, you'll be able to enter graduate school 2026. There is nothing wrong about that. There's no late comer there. Whenever you start is when you start. So it just depends on you evaluating what you think is the best for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. Or maybe NYC certificate can be valid if one is to serve in Nigeria presidency sometimes in the future before they drag you, like, so that is just maybe. So if you just have the opportunity, go for it. And if you feel like there's an offer for it, I actually know people who started and then they ended in between. She had to go to Germany, so she did 6 months. I don't know how she ran it, but I got in that open our eyes. I mean, we close it, we open. She's gone to Germany. She did not finish serving, so I don't know. But so Scholar Raimat has given us a very good insight and answered some of our questions. So really thank for that great insight. And we would like to call on the second speaker, but before that, I'll call on the second moderator in person of Scholar David, who would continue this session for us. So, Scholar Imat, we are so grateful for having us or for talking with us. So, if you want more from her, actually, she has a LinkedIn page and she has a lot of followers. She's a giver too. I saw her saying she can do mentorship for people. She has always helped us to on and in this OAU platform. Everybody just give themselves voluntarily for your course. So follow her on her LinkedIn profile, Rahimat Rafiu, that's her LinkedIn profile. She will gradually come on board. So let's have Scholar David on board. He's going to moderate for the rest of this section. Scholar Anya is going to be the second speaker.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Everywhere you hear me. My name is David. So I'll be moderating now the second part. I should start from the beginning anyway, but I had some issues behind me. So so for the second part of today, I'll be hosting Haniel to tell us about his own story and experience about graduate school. So Haniel, can we have you?
Okay, good day, everybody. Thanks, David. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Rahima too. I think she said a lot of things I would have said. So I think graduate school so far has been, will I say, both happy, both successful and challenging at the same time. But the point is, we're still going to pull through. But basically, I'll be talking about those of you that are planning to come around. So like Rahimat already said, it's more of you being serious. It's more of you like taking the bull by the horn. Like if you want to, the thing I've noticed is because I've been working with students that want to come, especially to the US, for about 3 to 3.5, let's say 4 years now. And the thing is, most of them are just serious on group chats, but they're not really serious students, honestly. So they all come to DMs and LinkedIn and they're like, how you doing? Good day, sir. How everything, sir? How the family? I want to apply to blah, blah, blah. I want to do this one. Please guide me. I need your guidance. I need your understanding. I need your this one. I need your light, all these ones. And then you tell them, oh, you are supposed to get a transcript. You're supposed to write these exams. You're supposed to write these essays. And then you don't hear from them again. And when you hear from them again, it's the next year. Good day, sir. I've been going through a lot, sir. Please, I want to do this one. That is the story of a lot of them. That is why before I even give out my time these days, like I'm not really open to giving out my time that way because let me say 90% of people that come to DMs are not serious. Trust me. And it's even worse with the first class students because those ones they are proud on another level. Like they feel like that first class girl is the pinnacle of their existence. And then I'm even more willing to help those that finish with 2-1 because you see those 2-1 they're serious girl. You understand? They know that that's the last that it don't be for them, you understand? But she see those first class people. Most of them, you tell them write GRE, don't worry about it. Write good essay, don't worry about it. Because they have 4.8 something. Do you understand? So I know these things, like I've been with people. That's why when she was talking, I was like, she was actually hitting those points and all. So the point is you are supposed to be serious with yourself. Like I tell people that some of you, the amount of time you've put in this application process, if they give person belle, person fit don born. I'm not joking about it. And most of you do not have anything to prove for it, no evidence. So you keep shouting, I'm applying, but no evidence. Like you keep shouting, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. Some of you are just serious online. I know it's not like I'm being harsh. I'm just telling you guys the truth. Because like she said, schools have deadlines. Like if you want to apply for fall 2024, so fall means August, September 2024, you should have started applying now. You should have written your exams. You should have at least scheduled your exams. You should have written your essays. Like, you should have contacted your people that recommend you or something. Like, but some people know you just want to wake up in the morning and just be like, okay, I want to apply now. And then, I mean, it's just like saying you want to write JAM and you don't know when JAM, would be written, or you don't know when. Do people get into school for Hamatan for rain semester? It's rare. It's usually Hamatan semester. So schools have their entry semester. So you should know these things and not just being serious online and serious on group chat and serious on seminars and webinars without you being serious yourself. Because trust me, you are spending a lot of your time, spending a lot of your resources. Applications are not free. You're going to be paying application fees for this thing. So it's more like the money that people are using to build houses, that's what you're using to put into applications. So why don't you just make the best use of it and and be serious with yourself? Sure, understand. So that's the major thing I want us to do. Like, if you don't get anything from this meeting, it should be that you should be serious, and you cannot be serious online only. You have to be serious with yourself. You have to know that, oh, I want to get into school. So I'll just do a very quick presentation for those of you that are very new to the process. I'll share my screen now. How do they share screen? Yeah, share screen. Yeah. Can you see so yeah, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Haniel Nkati. Yeah, I'm a third year PhD student at Louisiana State University, Health Shreveport. I'm studying microbiology and immunology, and my research focus is on tumor virology. So basically, I'll just be, I hope you can see my screen, Sha. I'll be very quick. Very quick. So basically it is a very poor culture that some of you right now do not have a pen, you do not have anything to write on, and then tomorrow you will come into DMs. Alpha, bless me with your light, bless me with your understanding. But just so what I'm saying is try and write so that you follow up. The questions you should ask yourself is, where do I want to study? For what do you want to study? And when do you want to study? And how do you apply and stuff like that? So when it comes to where, there are a variety of options. There's the UK, there's USA, there's Canada, and so on and so forth. Every country comes with its, with its pros and cons. For example, UK will give you admission quickly. Like, I applied to 9 UK schools and I got admitted in 9 of them. UK is very, very soft. They don't have any issue. Just try to bring your money, because when it comes to funding, they're like hands off. Do you understand? So the scholarships that will take you to UK are extremely competitive, Chevening, Commonwealth, and so on and so forth. So that's the basic disadvantage of applying to the UK, especially for the common man. You understand? So if you have money, you can apply to the UK and you get admitted for your master's. Another thing with the UK is most of the PhD programs require you to do a research master's before you go for your PhD. So I would do for Canada. I don't know much about Canada. I just included it here because it's a destination for many people. But I know I heard Canada gives admission, although all the professors I emailed for Canada, none of them replied to me. Oh, I think one of them replied. She said she no one picked me. So I was like, no wala. So for Germany comes with all these all these countries come with their forget Nigeria, just put it there for just to make our country proud. You get my point. So I put will I say Germany and all these countries, they have language, they have some language barriers. So you should prepare for that when you are applying to these countries. But if you want to get more info, you can just, like she said, look for people that are studying in these countries. Me, I'm in the US. I'm not in Qatar. Huh? So look for people that are studying there, ask questions. And when you ask questions, ask politely. And after you've gotten the answer, go ahead and do what they told you. Because the point is, most of you will ask Mr. A something. Mr. A will tell you, do this. You go and ask Mr. B. Why didn't you do what Mr. A told you to do? Because you don't want to work. You want admission to fall on your head, and it will not work. Trust me, like, I am of the opinion that anybody that is not serious should not even be admitted. Because you just end up spoiling the road for other people that are coming. Because if you're not serious, they will not be willing to take other Nigerians. They will move to Ghana. They'll move to Kenya, move to other places, because you yourself, you're not serious. So my prayer for everybody here is, if you're not serious, may you not get admission. Do you understand? So let the admission be for only people that are serious, that want to actually put in the work. People that will not plagiarize and copy people's SOP. Because I've had experiences. Do you understand? You copy SOP today, you copy somebody's research progress tomorrow in the lab. That's the problem. Sure you get. So that's it, Sha. So the next thing is for what? What do you want to study for? Is it a master's, an MA, or a PhD? So many people want to just go in for a PhD and they're like, I want to be called doctor. You know, it's you. Sure, understand. So I think you should at this point, you're all adults. I don't think anybody should be less than 18. If you're less than 18, God bless you. But the point is, most of you are all adults. You should know what you want. You should know your capacity as well as you should know how much work you can put in. A doctorate degree that's the highest degree in academia. Don't ever, unless you don't know, it's the highest degree in academia. So you should expect that the training is going to be rigorous. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to make you expectant so that you make your expectations very realistic. So the point is, if you want to study for a PhD, nobody can attitude where you're supposed to give now. Your attitude is not giving PhD. Just know. So it's not about I want to be doctor. You understand? Are you doctor? Are you a doctor? Are you somebody that can say, let's give the person his PhD? You understand? So you have to know exactly what you want to study for. Some of you want to study PhD because your friend is studying PhD. You also like if you call doctor, you call doctor. Like some things, you should know some things now. Sure, you get. You should, as in, I mean, from BSc, you should already know that it's not by who run it, but the Lord that showed mercy. You should know. You should know that, oh, I want to go for a master's, I want to go for a PhD. You should know that already by now. Do you understand? If you want to go for a master's, then after master's, you do PhD. I would just advise you do PhD straight. Because you can do a straight PhD from your BSc directly. Do you understand? So instead of going through that route of MSc, then PhD, just go for a PhD straight. Most US schools will take you for a PhD straight. You understand? So the point is, applying for masters has its advantages and disadvantages. Applying for PhD has its advantages and disadvantages. So like this scholar thing has entered my mouth. Like Raimat said, so you schooling, the money is not falling from heaven. There's a particular source for the funds, right? So there are many ways of getting funding: fellowships, teaching assistantship, and research assistantships. Those are the three major ways of getting funding. And fellowships will be, usually reserved for all these MBA people and, professional programs like engineering management, business administration, public health, and stuff like that. But proper STEM is based on assistantship, research assistantship, teaching assistantship. So research assistantship is you are schooling, you're a student in the school, but the research you are doing is counted as employment. So you are being paid for that research you are doing. So you are an employee of the school as well as a student, because the research you are doing is counted as employment. So you are being paid because of that research. You understand? Then teaching assistantship is you are teaching for the school. More like what you do in NYSC. You are teaching for the school, or you're teaching for that department, and that's where your money comes from. That's where your pay comes from. So this is the point. Look at it from this perspective. Master's is 2 years. That's if you know what you're doing. If you don't stay there for 4 years, but you get like average 2 years. 2 years. PhD, average 5 years. 5 years, right? So do you think it would be easier for you to fund a PhD than to fund a master? Some people will say yes. It's easier for you to fund a master's because it's just 2 years, so they're going to pay you for 2 years. No. Nobody picks somebody from his country to just train him or her. Nobody does that. You are also giving back. So I'm picking you to train you and then to use you. Masters gives them, I'm using use as a term, yeah. Masters gives them less time to use you. You are not giving back. So they're training you for 1 year to know how to do experiments, Western blots and stuff like that. Now you have to provide data, right? So 1 year is not enough to get data out from you because you have to give back. You can't just be getting from them, right? So, but for a PhD, they train you for about 1 year, 2 years, and then you have about 3 years, if you know what you're doing, maybe 4 years, you understand, to give back. You understand? So it is way, will I say, easier for you to see programs that are funding PhD programs rather than masters. I'm not saying masters funding is not there. It is there, it exists, yes. But I'm saying the chances for a PhD are here, chances for a master's are low here. So, but that is just, those are the advantages and disadvantages of applying for these programs. She understands. So it's more about there's a timing for these things and so on and so forth. Then the next one is when, this should be enlarged actually. So the next one is when, what year? So when should be determined by you also. When you want to go into school. But like she said, whenever you are applying a year before. Because the problem is some people just come. Like I know I got a message like last week. I mean, it was like, I want to apply for, I want to come into the US this 2023. I'm like, oh, well, God, that's good. That's perfect. I'm like, wait, have you written your NA exam? He said, no. He just, feel it. Like, like he has not been serious, but now he want to be serious. He want to come in this fall 2023. Like, he want to come in this, like by December, he should be in the US. I'm like, wow, so strong affirmation. So strong affirmation. I'm like, that's good. Maybe they don't tell him, say your destiny is in the US. For we, that thing will not work. Do you understand? It will not work. You get my point? Because you have to apply for the school. The school has to review your application. It's not jam you're writing. It's not jam you're writing, no. Not be jam. Where go send you your score for your. It's not jam you're writing. You are applying to be trained as as a top tier in a top tier place. You're not applying to learn. Let me know loud it, but you get my point. You get my point. So please, you have to know the timeline for these things so that you are on track. What people do not want to do is follow a process. You want to get results without putting in work, and putting in work means spending time. Nobody just wakes up and, goes into a lady's DM and be like, marry me. And then she says, yes, of course. Unless there's something in her head or she wants to, sacrifice you to the gods or something. You understand? But you plan these things. Like, I mean, you plan these things. Like, if you are applying for next year, that is fall 2024, you should have started the process since at least April this year. Because you are not going to prepare for your exam in 2 weeks. You're not going to prepare for your exam in 1 week. You're not going to, I mean, some of you have not even talked to any recommender at all. You've not talked to any lecturer at all. And you want to come into the US in December 2023. Are you playing? Like some things are just not realistic. So what is fall? I'm just going to explain now. I hope you are right, Isha. If you like, don't write, God will help you. Fall is between August to around that kind, let's say December. In a way, Sha know August, December is fall. You understand? It's like a rainy season. This is their season. You understand? Let me explain it in the Nigeria. You understand? It's like their season. You understand? Rainy season, Harmattan season, all this stuff. So fall is between August and and that December. Spring is that January. So around I think March. Then summer is when it's hot. Let's say, we get winter like this. Sha know. She for admission. Just focus on fall and spring. This summer and winter, it's summer. You understand? So focus on fall and spring. Usually schools admit for fall and schools admit for spring. But one caveat to this is the fact that spring admissions are less funded than fall. It's just like, remember in Nigeria, schools admit for Harmattan semester, not for rain. You understand? So most of their funding, these professors write grant, most of their funding will begin in these fall semesters. Do you understand? So target fall. You can target spring and get funding offers, no problem. But target fall more. Like fall is between August to December. Spring is between January to that March. So it means that roughly, that's, so it means that if I want to apply for fall 2024, it means that I should submit my application latest November 29, 2023. Do you understand? Because most schools have a deadline of, she said December 5, but for biological sciences, it is December 1. Some schools extend it to December 15. Some other schools, December 30 or December 30. Then some schools will now have January 1, January 15, January 30 before you now start going down. But most schools have a deadline of December 1st. I have submitted my applications November 29. I applied to 21 schools in the US, 2-1. You understand? So that's why I usually laugh when you come into the day and say, show me your light. The light will not get dim in Jesus' name. You understand? You show me your light and you have not started applying for anything. You've not written anything. You don't even know. Some of them don't even know what is your research interest? You don't know. And there's one that told me electronics. Oshe, electronics. That's your research interest, electronics. You want to be fixing bulb in the US. You want to be fixing iron. Like, and wait till I see for DM, God go help us. We'll be fine. We'll actually be fine. So the point is, you should know when you want to apply, when you want to get into the US, it should determine the speed with which you would run. So for those of you that are still in school, like she said, you can start applying, you can start preparing now. Those of you in your final year. But please, I want to beg you, if you know that you are not strong enough to carry both school and your applications, do not do it. Because your final year is a major determinant of your transcript. They look at those last 2 years a lot. Some of them will tell you that you need to have a 3.0 GPA over 4 on a throughout your 4 years of school, if you did a 4-year course. Then some of them will now add an extra that your last 2 years must have a GPA total of 3.0 over 4. So you see those last 2 years, they do not play with it. Because some of them have this idea that when you come into school, sometimes you still they play. But that your last 2 years, if you still they play for that last 2 years, then like say you will play for life. Do you understand? So they want to know what you did in that last 2 years and how you were able to get better, how you're able to improve. So please don't play with your last 2 years if you're still in school. Do you understand? Every A counts. Don't say, well, they don't get me, say they don't get me, maybe they finish me. Well, every A counts. Like, try your best to make sure every A you can get it. Do you understand? So I think I've explained this. Then how? So how do you apply? How you apply is you look for the school. Nobody will look for it for you. Do you understand? I get emails and messages, especially LinkedIn, that please, what schools can I apply for? My dear, if you cannot check for schools you can apply for, then don't apply. Do you understand? The first thing that starts with you being a graduate student is your ability to find out things for yourself. Do you understand? Some of you can go and look for man phone number and man Instagram. You can search, you are a detective for that one. You sabi gun. You can look for man, look for woman, Instagram, look for their LinkedIn, look for this thing. You are a detective for that one. But when it comes to looking for school to help your life, you are looking for somebody that will list schools for you, how you will apply. So you see how your priorities have been set. See your priorities. Do you understand? So the point is, I'm going to drop 2 links on the chat box now. For ICU, icu.org, usnews.com. So when usnews.com, I'm going to open one of them now. How did they do it? Okay. So when you open for icu.org, you go to North America. If you want to study in the US, I'm using that as an example. You go to North America, and then you go to United States, right? You will see all the states in the US. So, for example, I'm in Louisiana, so I go to Louisiana, for example. You see all the schools in Louisiana, and then you go to a second tab. So this is Louisiana State University, Baton Rouge. Then you click. New tab, don't open it on that tab. Baton Rouge, you click. You open the school. Is this simple actually? You open the school, you go to academics or something that is related. You go to academics, you go to okay, so these are colleges and all. So you check these colleges and check if they have, let's say, College of Engineering, and check if they have graduate schools, so graduate programs. So I know in Nigeria we use the British system. So undergrad is undergrad, but postgrad is master's and PhD. But in the US, they call postgrad graduate programs. So they don't call it postgraduate programs, they call it graduate programs. So you go to graduate programs and then you check what they have. Can you see that? Okay, deadline is for fall 2023. Is okay. They have not even okay for spring 2024. It means that if you want to come in here January 2024, should have applied October 1. Can you see these schools have deadlines? So these are the you just read through and check. So these are the programs they have: Masters in Civil Engineering, master's in this engineering, PhD in civil engineering. So after you've, gone through, then you now look for their, okay, they have mechanical engineering and so on and so forth. So after that, if you see that school is something you want to apply to, you look for another school. You click on another school. Oh, Northwestern State University. You go to another tab. You open it. That's how you keep searching. It takes time, yes, but I mean, now you won't go to school. It's not me that say you should go to school. You understand? So if you want to go to school, you look for it yourself. Do you understand? Same thing with usnews.com. Do you understand? So so after you've looked for the schools that you want to apply to, and you've had an idea of which schools you want to apply to now, but for you to even have an idea of if that school is even a good fit for you, it's not just the department, because most people are very flawed with this. Like, you go to, let's say you want to study cancer, for instance. I'm using that as an example because that's what most people want to study in, cancer, they keep people going. You understand? So let's say you want to study cancer, for instance. The point is, you do not have to look for a department that is called cancer biology or cancer genetics or cancer that has cancer in its name. No. So PhD and master's is research. So it's more it's more of what is the department doing? The professors in the department, that is the faculty in the department, what are their research interests? So you can go to a biological science department. The name of the department is the biological sciences. And you see somebody that is working on, let's say telomere biology. Telomeres are the, let's say, things that determine aging. Cancer is a disease that has to do with age. The longer you live, the longer the chances of you having those mutations that would cause cancer. So the longer we live, the higher our chances of getting cancer. So, and that is the point I tell people, that's the point I tell people to read. So if you are going for, let's say you want to study AI, you want to study AI in school, you should be reading about AI. That is the way you can make connections that will be relevant to the course you are applying to. So for example, you want to study AI, you don't know what bits and bytes are. Makes sense now. These are basic things that you should know. Also, you want to study something in engineering. You don't know the difference between alternating current and direct current. Like some things, let's be sincere now. Some things should not fly. You understand? Or you want to study industrial chemistry, and you don't know anything about, let's say, all these industrial processes. Like nothing. Like these are the things you should know. And if you do not know, it's not a problem. Where it's a problem is when you do not want to know. You understand? If you do not know, it's not a problem, because there's Coursera there. Coursera will give you, free of charge. Like I did about 21 courses on Coursera, or even 22, free of charge. I didn't pay for anything. And I got, financial aid. I got my certificates and everything. I learned about cancer because I wanted to study tumors. So I got into a tumor biology lab, you understand? So you learn about the course you want to apply for, so that whenever you see a professor working on something related, you can identify that connection. You can identify that link. So if you have not been studying about your research interest, it's not, I want to study Alzheimer's disease. I want to study, just find one disease where carry the name. I want to study it. You understand? And you don't know anything about it. It's very funny. You don't know anything about it, but you want to study it. You understand? So please try and read about your research interest so that you can make connections whenever you see professors studying that. So whenever you see a professor studying what you are studying or what you want to study, you reach out to them via email, you reach out to them via Twitter, you reach out to them via LinkedIn. But I do not actually suggest you do Twitter and LinkedIn. I only suggest Twitter and LinkedIn as a platform to look for them. So I usually do this thing where I go online every day. I've just been busy for the past 2 days. I go on LinkedIn every day. I go on Twitter every day, and I look for professors looking for students, and I take screenshots and I send it out. I send it to Tofumi most times. You understand? So I send it out and everything. So professors are looking for students daily. So it is one of the surest way of getting admitted. So when they're looking for students, you just send in your CV, and that is where it has to be coming from a prepared mind. So all these channels will favor somebody that is prepared. You understand? It will favor somebody that is prepared. So after you've reached out to professors, some of them want to have interviews with you. So when you have interviews, and then you now discuss whether you'll be coming to the school or not. So please, it's more about you being serious about the process, and trust me, you'll get in. Then last thing is grad school requirements. She already talked about most of them. There's a GPA requirements, and most schools in the US take a GPA of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale, not on a 5. So it means that using a normal conversion of them, multiply your stuff by 0.8, you should be on about 3.75. I think 3.75 over 5, you understand? So you should have a GPA. So I'm going to stick with the 3.0 over 4. Let's not confuse me. Sure you get. So you should have a GPA of about 3.0 over 4 for most schools in the US. You understand? But if you do not, like she said, there are other schools that have lower GPA requirements. Some schools have a GPA requirement of 2.75, but it comes with some sacrifices you have to make. You have to make sure you have really good GRE scores, really good TOEFL scores, because trust me, you want to prove yourself. Some of you already have GPAs that you cannot change. Of course, you cannot change it. It's not possible. You go to your home and tell them, add one, just drop one for me on top. You understand? You cannot change it now. You understand? So, but the point is, you have to make sure you make other parts of your application very strong. Application review is a holistic process. It means that you're not just looking at your GPA, you're just looking at your transcript. They're looking at every single thing that you're bringing to the table. They're looking at your research experiences. They're looking at your recommendation letters. You think recommendation letters are not important? They are really important. They take recommendation letters here with so much. They look at it really well. Like, recommendation is a big thing here. So it's not about your recommender writing, Hania is a good boy. He always goes to church. You know, anytime you see woman, he follows another road. Sorry, he will run away again. He does not like trouble. He's going to be a good boy in your department. That's not what they are looking for. So some of you that the recommender is already writing that nonsense, just tell them to just chase that nonsense. Let them help you and remove it. You understand? Look for good samples of recommendation letters and draft a good one for them and let them see how it is done. Do you understand? So the application review is a holistic process. Your transcripts, your certificate, your statement of results, your standardized test scores. And like she said, some of you are of the opinion that it is not necessary. So that is the major question I get. Like, out of, let's say 50% of the questions I get in this life, apart from when are you getting married, is GRE and TOEFL necessary? And the answer I give is, well, if you want write down. It's not me you'll be stressed. Do you understand? Once you apply, you see rejection. You apply again, you see rejection. You will write it. I don't chase it. I'm too young to be having, sleepless nights on top of somebody's issue. Like, I'm not even your father or your mother. You understand? I'm too young for all those things. So the point is, chasing this standardized test scores. Some schools consider it to be not like they are not necessary for some schools, because some schools say that it is not a true test of who is smart. It's just like saying JAM. I mean, you got 400 in JAM does not mean you will pass first year. Let's be sincere. I mean, there's data to support that. There's data to support that. You understand? So the point is, these test scores, you need them to help your chances, not necessarily to give you admission. Why? Because you can get admission without these test scores. But this is a scenario. There are 10 schools in the US. 5 of them require GRE. 5 of them do not require GRE. Without GRE, it means that you can only apply to 5. With GRE, it means that you have 10 to choose from. So it expands your pool of applications. And the point is, you should also use your head. People that are not applying with GRE are more than people applying with GRE. It means that those schools that are not using GRE would have way more application. So if normally 20 people will apply with GRE, now they'll waive GRE, it means 200 people will apply. You're going to be competing with 200 other people. Your chance of entering is 1 over 200 if you're picking only one student. But if you're applying to a school that's picking GRE, that's using GRE, it means that less people will apply because less people will have GRE. So it reduces your competition with others. So it's more of using your head. Trust me, it's using your sense, like, oh, this thing will increase my chances. Let me write this exam. The point is laziness. It's not the money, like she said. It's not the money. Because some of you are sending money to babe. Yes, sending money to babe and saying, I'll take care of you and your family. But you cannot write GRE for your life. You understand? So you get my point. So the point is, these scores would increase your chances. It would increase your probability. Then some of you are trying to use a statement from your school to say that you spoke English in your 4 years of study. The statement gonna has grammatical error inside. Like, how do you do that? How do you do it? Do you understand? So TOEFL and IELTS, or IELTS, like some people call it, they are English exams, they just determine if you can communicate in English. Do you hear English? Do they hear English? Or do you also speak English? You understand? So these exams would help them to confirm that you can understand and communicate in English. And trust me, I'm not lying to you. Some schools will tell you that it is waived for Nigerians, but TOEFL and IELTS is a major determinant of who they give teaching assistantships. You understand? Teaching assistantship is a different level of beast on its own, because they want to be sure that you will not come down and be speaking nonsense to their students. So they need evidence on paper that shows that you can indeed speak English. And trust me, you need these exams to even help you, put your stuff forward. Some of you do not have the best research experiences. Some people that are getting admitted without this exam, they will not tell you that they have research experiences in 4 places. They will not tell you, they won't tell you the full story. The only thing you want to hear is what they will tell you. Do you understand? They will not tell you that they have a professor that was helping them out. They will not tell you that they have a professor they already secured. They won't tell you all these things. The only thing you hear from them is, I don't like you. I don't like you. I've gotten admission with 2 funding. You understand? And you smile. You understand? And then you try for 2 more years. You get my point? Not your portion in Jesus' name. So essays, like you said, you write good essays. Do not copy up and down. Do not plagiarize. So those of you using ChatGPT, the Lord is your helper. Because I think for you to even go into graduate school, you should learn how to write. And if you do not know how to write, you should learn it. And do not let ChatGPT and all these AI tools spoil, your prowess for writing. You should learn how to write. Like I review about, let's say on an average, I review 7 SOPs in a week. On an average, it's what I now do for a living, even though I'm not getting paid. You understand? I review about 7 SOPs. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. Do you understand? I've seen people copy a part of their SOP from the professor they want to work with. You copy his profile and put inside your SOP. Such courage and determination. You understand? So I've seen a lot. So write good essays, have good recommendation letter. Application fees are expensive. Some schools have application fees of about $80. That's 80K right now. So please, you should know that it is not a process that you should take, like anyhow. You are spending a lot. You're spending your time. Like I said, some of you, if you start applying now, before you will get admission, like the whole process, person freedom born, it's a lot of time. You are spending your life, you're spending your time, you're spending your money. So make it count. Don't just, just be doing it haphazardly. Like, make it count. Make sure you are intentional about what you are doing. Your international passport, yes, you need that to write your GRE. You need to get your international passport to write your exams. Then West evaluation is something that some schools would require, not all schools. You understand? So West evaluation is like an international evaluation to evaluate your GP on a 4.0 scale. Then your CV, please have good CVs. Stop putting your picture on your passport in your ICV to real long. Like, don't put your age, don't put married and single inside your academic CV, please. Like, those things are not important. Go and put married with your age. Go put age like this, married, 34 years. Like, some things, you understand? Look for good templates. Graduate school CV. Do you understand? You get my point. So I think I'm done. So if you have any question, God will help you, we'll be all right. Yeah. So I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Oh yeah, thank you for your presentation. It was a drive-through the fun and the truth about graduate application. Well, it is true. Most people don't want to work, don't want to do anything. I think I once shared my story one time. Like the phone I was using when I was in Nigeria was Nokia 2.1. I think I bought the phone maybe like 14,000 naira, and that was what I used in applying if I left Nigeria. I have some people using iPhone, man, but our priorities are different. So that's it. So if you have any question, please you can raise up your hand or ask in the group chat. I'll read it out. And thank you again, Skolania, for that great presentation. That was awesome. So if you have any question, okay. So does Louisiana University request for GRA?
Okay, so currently my own school is waiving GRA, but it depends on the school. Like Louisiana State University, I think we have about 3 or 5 of them. So I'm in the health sciences. I'm in the medical school. So the medical school, it's only medical programs here. We only have about, I think, 8 graduate programs, and it's all medical. Then we have the medical school, like all these doctors. You understand? But the other Louisiana State universities, like the one in Baton Rouge, then there's another one in Shreveport, but their programs are very few. There's another one in Shreveport. So please, whenever you're applying to a school, make sure you know the exact schools. So if you say, it's not like when you say Delta State University, you know there's only one DELSU in Nigeria. But here, when you say Louisiana State University, there are many of them. So there'll be Louisiana State University, Abraka, Louisiana State University, Ogbomosho, University. You understand that kind of thing? That's how it is here. So whenever you're applying to a school, I've seen someone make a mistake one time. So he was sending an email to a professor in, let's say, Abraka, and the whole thing he wrote was for a professor in Ogbomosho. And he already told the professor in Abraka that he was not applying to any other place. Shall you see the lie? So you should know the exact school you are applying to, like the exact school, and it is usually tagged by the city it is in. She understands. So for my school, it is waiving GRE. They do not require the GRE. That is for my school. But I don't know for other schools. But like I said, if you can, please write your exam. Yeah.
Okay. There's another question saying that so what about the application fee? Does Louisiana University request application fee?
Yes, I think it's I don't think it's up to $30, Shao. I don't think it's up to $30, but yeah, there's application fee.
Okay, next question. Some skills required for a PhD program. Can I learn them from Coursera? Like,
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand.
like can for some instances, some people are asked to like have some skills in maybe let's say cancer, something.
Yes. Yes.
So can you learn such skills from Coursera or Udemy?
Yes. If you check my LinkedIn, you will see the courses I did on Coursera. So there's some things that, like, let me say you're applying for something that has to do with bioinformatics, or that has to do with programming. Those things can be really learned online. So you understand. So Coursera offers really top-notch courses that you can learn online, and you're going to get certificates of them. Like, there will be evidence that you did these things. Do you understand? So honestly, that was one major thing when I interviewed with the professors in my school. That was one major thing. One of them, the current professor I'm even working with, that was one major thing she talked about. She was like, that she sees that I'm really learning about cancer and stuff. That where am I learning from? That she can see, some online courses and all that. Am I paying for them and all those things? So we discussed on that, and then she was like, wow, that's cool. So something about applying for graduate school is most professors want to see that you have interest. It's not just about whether you've been trained or not. If you've been trained, there'll be no need of admitting you, because I mean, there's no need training somebody that has been trained. I mean, the purpose of you applying is that you want to be trained, right? But the point is they want to see whether you are interested. And these courses help you, show that you are interested, that you've done these things, you've enjoyed these courses, you know what they look like. So things like bioinformatics, things like programming, they are good skills you can learn online. So I think you should spend your time on that rather than spend your time on podcasts that discuss who cheats more, men or women, because that's what permeates the environment now. Like all those stupid questions that are really open-ended and very subjective. Like you do not learn anything from them. Or things like all those questions. Spend your time on reasonable stuff. Spend your time on things that would better your life. You understand? That will make you a better applicant than someone else. You understand? Because trust me, you may think that you're competing against Nigerians. You are not. You're competing against people from China. You're competing from this place. You're competing with people with a perfect GPA. That's why all those people that carry their 4.8 in their head, I'm just looking at them. People have perfect GPA is nothing here. It's like water. Nobody it's like water. So don't think that your 4.8/5 is a big deal. They cannot even pronounce the name of your school. Apart from your law university, they cannot pronounce it. So I mean, let's calm down. You understand? So try and do stuff that would increase your chances. Coursera helps. Why I actually say Coursera a lot is because Coursera gives you good certificates that are from schools themselves. You understand? I know Udemy is really good, but I prefer Coursera. Coursera has it's like the certificates they give you. You will see your full name. You will see Stanford University there. Do you understand? There's some courses that even require that everybody in sciences should take. Example, writing in sciences. Writing in the sciences is a good course to take. If you have that on your CV alone, it shows that you are thinking about graduate school. Writing in sciences teaches you how to write papers, how to write as a graduate student. It means that you're already thinking about the future. You understand? So writing in the sciences, how to publish a scientific paper, how to write a CV. Those are the courses you should take on Coursera. Those are like good courses to do and get certificates for them and put them on your CV. And if you also need a CV template, I can always send mine to you. Mine is like public. I always send it to anybody. So please, yeah, Coursera is a good platform and it is free. apply for financial aid. They will review your financial aid in 15 days, and then you get started. You can even start your course before your financial aid is, complete. For the financial aid, you just need three answers to 3 questions, like in essay form, and they will say yes. They have never said no to anybody I know that they apply for financial aid. They'll say yes. You're from Nigeria, money no day. They know, so they'll say yes to your financial aid application, and then you would get admitted. You'll be fine. Trust me. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving fast. So can I apply with a second class lower after meeting all of the requirements?
Yes. So this is the thing. Whenever I ask people that what did you finish with? Like, I don't like the first class, second class. Like, nobody send. Like, all those things, they are just not only your alma mater send, and they're not even giving any money for the first class when I carry. Let's be sincere. So why are you still carrying it on your head? Like, what is your GPA? That's the question you should be asking yourself. So you might think everybody is second class lower. 3.49 is way far different from 2.8. Way different. So don't think what's second class lower. What is your GPA? So your GPA is what counts. I know someone that got admitted for a fully funded PhD program with a 2.97 from OAU, chemistry. And it also depends on the course you are applying for. So courses like chemistry they have funding a lot. So if you study, so some of you, you've been down because you apply for engineering, they give you chemistry, you want to knock yourself, and blah, blah, blah. You are studying one of the courses that have like one of the best futures in life. People studying chemistry and biochemistry and microbiology, these 3 courses. Like, you can enter, I know in Nigeria, they just tell you can work anywhere, but you understand. But actually, yeah, you can actually apply anywhere. Like, your choices are extremely vast, and the chances that you're going to be funded is extremely high. So if you're studying any of these courses I mentioned, chemistry, biochemistry, and microbiology, please, you will enjoy your life. Like, you will really enjoy. So please, it's not really about the GPA. It's not really about the second class lower. It's about your GPA. So like I said, most schools require a GPA of 3.0/4. And West evaluation changes your GPA to an extent. If you do a normal calculation of your GPA by doing the normal cross multiplication, you might get a lower something than 3.0/4. But if you do a West evaluation, I think West evaluation does something with like a weighted average or something like that. So they kind of scale your GPA in a way that most times it increases your GPA in a sense. So I'm going to type in a link on the group chat now. Try and evaluate your transcript using that link.
The ROSC GPA calculator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. IGPA calculator. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. See. So go to this site, evaluate your GPA, and they will give you your GPA on a 4.0 scale. Do you understand? They'll give you your GPA on a 4.0 scale. So so that is what you should be thinking about. So just evaluate your GPA using this stuff. No need to put in the course title, just put in the course unit and then your course score, because putting in the course title will take a lot of time. Course unit, course score, you're doing that from your first year to your final year. You're doing everything. So evaluate your GPA for free on this using this site. They'll send the GPA evaluation to your email. Then from there, you can now start saying, oh, my GPA is 3.01/4. What should I do? And hey, that is now you're coming, not second class lower. Nobody cares about those things. Trust me. Yeah, it's just
Okay. All right. The next question. For someone who got MSc from South Korea, for instance, would the person spend 3 or 5 years for PhD in the US?
Depends on the school. Some schools don't actually care. If you like carry MSc from Kafanchan, you go see the 5 years where would they run, you go run out. Nobody send you to go and do masters there. You want to show yourself. Change that, but the point is the school has their own requirement. So they would say the requirement for getting a PhD is 5 years with us. That's it. Some schools will tell you that for a master's, if you already have a master's, you'll be out of here in 4 years or in 3 years. The thing that happens is sometimes some people come in with a master's and they were not actually properly trained. So even if the school wants to release you in 3 years, they cannot. Because trust me, no school wants to release someone that has not been properly trained. So of course, it is tagged a 5-year degree, but the point is they want to release you when you've been trained. May not go there, go mess up their name. Sure, understand? So it depends on the school you are applying to, and it also depends on some profs. It's not even the school that wants you to have a master's before applying. It is the prof himself. He wants you to have a master's before applying. Maybe he's trying to gather data for funding. He doesn't want to spend time to start training a new student, entirely new person. You understand? He wants to quickly, start generating data. So try and look at, like she said it before, try and look at the requirement. Look at it very well. Don't just look and just do zone. You want to apply. No, you look at the requirement. What is this person looking for? Some professors even have a GRE score they are looking for. Some professors, they have it. So please, it's about the school. So 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, it's about the school. But most PhD programs will be 5 years.
All right, thank you. I think someone already answered like the 2 questions. So then someone asked for your name of your school rather.
Louisiana State University Health Shreveport. Yes.
Okay. As a microbiologist, can you recommend some courses on Coursera?
I cannot recommend though. It depends on what you want. It depends on just what you want. So you go to Coursera. Let's say you're interested in genetics. You just type genetics. You look at courses there. You choose. Like, turn away from getting recommendations all the time. Turn away from getting templates all the time. That is what restricts you. That's what restricts your creativity. That's what makes your application look like somebody else's application. That's what makes you somebody else. Be yourself. So you want genetics, go to Coursera, search genetics there. You understand? You get my point. So I mean, if you want to get married, you don't ask for recommendations. Yes, you don't ask for recommendations. You go for what you want. So please go for what you want. If you want to apply to bioinformatics, go to Coursera, search bioinformatics, or search R programming, or search Python programming. You will see a list of courses. You look at them. You look at the course, the course outline, and see which one you want best. You do it. That's you. So recommendation about courses, that's on you. Do what you want.
So someone's asking, like, can I stay in the US after my PhD?
Oh, calm down.
Made Trump no
That's after that is calm down. Don't worry. I can't answer that question. Just calm down. Okay.
So yeah,
yeah.
Advantage of holding a PhD in the US.
Advantage?
Yeah.
Advantage, Ken. Not do PhD now. I'm trying advantage, but like you will shall have PhD. That's the advantage.
So I think one guy is using up his hands. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Shuko Anino. So please, can you ask your question?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Hamia. I appreciate your effort. Your lecture has been very insightful. I have a question that I need a clarification on. I'm actually have interest in public health and I've been applying for quite a number of schools. From work here in Nigeria and Africa.
I think you should type your question in the chat because we can barely hear you. Please type your question in the chat instead.
So while waiting for him to type his question, then someone is asking, who can recommend me for the recommendation letter?
It's your the first person I say is your project supervisor, because I told you before, masters and PhD in here is not taught, unlike UK is taught. Masters and PhD here is research. So the person you've done research with is basically your supervisor, right? Your project supervisor. So that's the number one person. So some of you that you have had clashes, you don't look your supervisor for eye, say, I don't care about you, turn that fire, you all those things. You know what you do? You just buy wine. It's not hard. You buy wine, you buy granite, you buy garden egg, you just go and apologize. That's no problem. You understand? So your project supervisor is number one person that will write a recommendation for you, because that person is the person that can tell about your research prowess, how you've been able to grow in his lab and stuff like that. Then the second person should be because usually PhD programs require about 3 recommendation letters, and master's program usually require about 2. So the second person can be any other person. But I usually tell people since you're applying for an academic position, make sure the bulk of your recommendation letters are academic. Do you understand? You understand? So unless for those of you applying for professional programs like MBA, you have to be very careful too. So something like MBA, you want somebody like you've worked with in a firm. Good firm, not a cement industry. Man, no loud down. You understand? Like better firm. You understand? That has name. You get my point? Like these are the things you understand. So you look for someone that has worked in a good firm, you've worked together with. Those of you apply for professional programs. Example, you apply for public health. At least a doctor, a good, doctor where ability they do should recommend you. That's public health. So you should look at it. That's why I said it's your application. It's you. Make sure you are original. You understand? Let it come from you. So who is recommending you? Number one is your project supervisor. Then you pick, be strategic. Look at you look at yourself, look at the people that can recommend you, and let the person know you very well. Not Hania is a good boy, he can sing. That's not what they're looking for. That's it.
I did my internship at the Federal Road Maintenance Agency. Can the boss recommend me? I think you answered that already.
Yeah, I've answered that.
Yeah. So I think that's about the question we have for today. Talking about the recommendation letter format, please can you give us a sample document?
I'll send I sent I don't know if you're on any group I'm on, but I'll send this stuff to Tofumi. So you can contact Tofumi for all of them. I'll send anything you need. You can contact me directly on LinkedIn, or you can just ask my phone number and I'll send it to you, or you can just contact me, I'll send it out to you. There's a particular document I have that has recommendation letter format and samples you can use. But please don't forget it's a sample. Yeah. Don't forget it's a sample. It's a sample. They call it a sample for a reason. Don't forget that part.
Okay. What if I already have the academic professors to recommend me and my supervisor is not among them?
You go and put your supervisor among them. Try and put your supervisor among them. It is not the best for your supervisor. I mean, that's unless you want to claim research experience from somewhere else, no problem. But you are saying you did research in someone's lab. The person is not recommending you. There's a big problem now. Let's be sincere. There's a big problem. So, I mean, that's it. Just try and add your supervisor to the plan.
I would speak on that. Sorry, because I did not use my project supervisor for my recommendation letters, and it wasn't because I did anything wrong. I focused. I knew the professors I would say the best things about me. I wasn't sure what my project supervisor was going to write. So it's also everybody, like, it depends on like the relationship you have with your project. Well, of course, out of all the people, one of them was like my seminar supervisor. So they were able to like talk about and they were kind of been mentoring me since like my third year. So they were very aware of my academic accomplishments. They knew what rank I was in my pro, like they knew like best student, that they knew all of that. So it wasn't like they were strangers, like they knew. But one mistake you don't want to make is you don't want to use someone that will write this person the terrible person in your recommendation letter. And honestly, you don't even have to do anything wrong. Sometimes some people just don't like you. And it's not your problem. And for me, like, I was just not certain. Of course, maybe wouldn't have write something bad, but I was just not sure. If I need a recommendation letter in this life, I'll not ask that one. Not because of anything, it was just because of the situation of things. And recommendation letters are very important. And one thing I would say is, even after graduate school, you still don't just enter graduate school and forget your recommenders. I still have all my recommenders on WhatsApp. Yeah. And aside from graduate school, they've recommended me for other things here. So it's like, it's a very important relationship. And if you're still in school right now, saying, at least let your lecturers know you're in class. Some people you graduate, nobody knows your name. Nobody knows you even took their class, Even like being a class rep is a very reputable, because if you're a class rep, how lecturers know you? If you ask for one or two, they don't give you, you can get from other people. But you just go to class, you sit at the back, you score 2/10, or you'll be among the people where you not submit an assignment or something. It's very hard for you to get a recommendation letter. And also, like, if you are a sales rep in one company selling yam, don't go and say like that's the best thing you want to use for your recommender. Because I always say, like, when you work to, it does make money for us. Like, you need to have like an alignment. So even if for some reason you cannot use the project, someone was saying like if the person is late, some people that are project supervisor are dead. There's no way you cannot get a recommendation letter from a dead person. So it's like, it's very important, but make sure like at least these are lecturers in your school. Sometimes they might be lecturer in other departments and you've taken one of their courses, but there should be a link. They cannot just say, oh, I know this guy, they live in our neighborhood. That's it. No. this person took a class in, sometimes I say like, oh, this person took a class, they were excellent, they led a project, they did this, like, there needs to be evidence. They say if there is no evidence, we shall I tire. Oh, this is good, is good, is good. How is the person good? Like, what can you speak about? So like, it's like, even if your projects, for some reason you cannot write, just make sure like, I always recommend all three come from at least academic, but in some cases, if you're a microbiologist and you work in a diagnostic center, you're doing core research, you can use those kind of people. But at the worst case scenario is using people who you've never worked with them. They were not like your lecturer for any other school. Is just, oh, he's a good guy, she's fine. That would not catch it. And also like always make the work of your recommenders easy. I've had a lecturer post on LinkedIn, like he was writing recommendation letters for like 20 people. And it just kind of showed like how busy his mail was. It's not easy. So make their work easy by preparing a good draft. Of course, they'll still need to go through. Of course, they will not be saying like, you did this, you did that for them, and they did not do anything. They will still need to evaluate whether they want to help your life or not. I mean, for the good part, be a good person. But if you're not a good person, at least draft a good recommendation letter. Don't just say, write a recommendation. It's hard for them to start. Sometimes they don't even remember your name. They don't even know who you are, you know. Make it easy for them and prepare a good draft. There are so many samples online, but make sure like it aligns with you. You know, it should be like, at least some of you don't even remember the courses you take on. See, this conversation will never end, but quote unquote, just like be serious with everything you're doing and make sure like try your very best. There's so many things outside your control, but there's so many things within your control. Of course, there's praying and God's also like God's hand in everything. Some people are luckier than I've had someone apply to one school, got in. I've had someone that applied to 25 and did not get anything. So it's like there are so many things to this, but be serious, pray to God. Even after you get to America, still hold on to the rope of God. Don't think I graduate school, there's light, there's what I do need God. There are so many factors in your life where you still need God. So do what you're supposed to do, and also like you can always ask for help. So scholar, so funny, would you like to finish the conversation?
Yeah, although I know you have some other questions there, but I think you've made mention of them already. So I think like someone is trying to switch feeds of a research. I think it's possible to do that. And someone asked about the content of recommendation letter. So the person can also get that from samples you're going to send out on your LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
Then so yeah. So everyone, please you can also follow up with Anya on LinkedIn. He has some information for you. So you can also like direct message him if you have done your own research as well, because he might eventually like kick you out of his personal DM. So try and make your own research before you try and like engage him. He's a very busy person. Like everyone in the US are very busy. So I think that was all I have to say for today. So so you said do not say I am. We just ask him your questions and let him know what you really want. So I hand over to Fumi to round up.
All right, thank you so much. It was a nice time. We're supposed to be doing the usual OAU seriousness, but we had a nice time laughing at, so they presented the truth to us in a very funny way. But actually, those are the truths, the real truths that every woman needs. They are born out of experiences. Some people might just try to baby you, but sometimes you need the raw truths so that you can evaluate yourself and what you really want. So today, our scholars have really done a lot of, they bore out their mind. This was just like an interactive session. I mean, they didn't sit down speaking English and then polishing it for you, but they came out raw the way they had to use. Scholar Raima was telling you her experiences. Scholar Anya was just blowing it out hard. People really showing shaky actually. So maybe that's why it came. So first of all, he didn't even introduce himself. Just came like that directly. Now, oh, I didn't tell them my name. So everything is born out to you. We are trying our best to see you succeed. Nobody's paying us. So we want you to come back, share your testimony, and join the league. That is how we visualize so that we can keep the circle going. We want people in other countries. So really appreciate our speakers today for their awesome work and the other moderator. We thank you too for coming. Really hope you will take all this and work on them and share your testimony, your success story. We want to just be happy. That's all. We have many people that are already in North Korea, US, Europe. They've gone. Saudi Arabia, so yeah, they've gone. We didn't collect their money. We don't collect their stipend. We don't even know how much they are collecting. But we're just happy. Oh, somebody made it and it's gone. Maybe they don't even remember us again. So we just want to be just to help you. That's all. We just want to give back to you. We can't hold any position in OAU, but this is our give back. So please make it worthy. Make it worthy. And let it count. So we'll have another edition of this webinar maybe next month. We'll try to put everything in place. But we have a seminar coming up. Although now we've seen our talks have always been on US. So we have another country coming up very soon, maybe maybe next weekend. So we'll put out the flyer so that you can look forward to that. We have a YouTube page for some people ask for someone, not some people, someone asking or somebody thinking, okay. So we have a YouTube page, OAU Graduate Scholars Forum. We'll be uploading this video there soon. We didn't have the previous one. We'll have it all together soon. So you can follow us on YouTube. Let me do the normal content. Like, subscribe, and do it. And share. Hey, any video you saw there, share. And then share them to your departmental page, anything. And if you need help with your SOP, they know that some of our reviewers have not gotten back to you, but most of them have gotten back to you. Few people submitted. We have mentorship page too, but currently, let me confess, we don't have serious activities there like we did before because everybody got busy. And the people there are not really that, no, like Scalania was saying, that was the vibe they are giving. They're not really taking it with the energy like the first set of people did. They really did, and we had testimonies from there. Saudi Arabia, Europe, and US. They went. Korea said they went. So what we are just saying is that if you don't give us the energy, it's not easy be following you up and meet other things, but we can always help you to check your CV. Then one thing our scholars do now is that they can, when they have time, they can sit with you one-on-one to listen to you when you talk. Like I was just chatting a friend who had the scholar sat down with her. The scholar is also here, reviewed her CV, her SOP, and giving her follow-up like that. So if you are very serious, somebody reached out to me, but I couldn't link the person. I don't know. I can't find the number again. So if you need that, you can reach out to me too. I can help you find somebody who can help you out on that. Scholar Raimat is doing that general, not able to worry people now. She can also help you. You can reach out to her on a LinkedIn profile. So as Scholar Aniel said, state your purpose. Scholar Aniel now is like you have shown him shaking, so he needs people that are very serious. So really, if you are like people are there, they will do it for you. It's just a heart of humanity. So God is helping us. Thank you for coming again. We have a 2-hour talk. So look forward to our upcoming seminar. We appreciate our speakers once again. We'll bring up more seminars for you, more time for you to interact and ask your questions is coming. So thank you so much for coming. It's nice having you. And once again, this platform hosting this webinar, or that hosted this webinar, is the Obafemi Awolowo University Graduate Scholars Forum. My name is Oluwatofumi, I'm also called Deborah. And the speakers today were Anne and Scholar Rahimat, and the other moderator is Scholar David. So it's nice having you all around. I hope you have learned a lot. And if your questions were not answered, I hope you can definitely send them to